car industry gone absolutely balmy? Yes. That is the topic of today. Mercedes-Benz is the newest to announce that, yes, a 4-cylinder, you read that right, AMG GT is coming. It is slower than an A45. If you'd like to know my initial reaction on this, read this. So much so that I couldn't even be bothered to correct the BA. Now let me be clear, I understand the car manufacturers having to find alternative ways to fuel the future. We know that e-fuels are coming, but there's still heavy restrictions on emissions per brand, and Germany is very aggressive on this. But you are telling me, to any extent, that a 4-cylinder AMG GT is a better solution than an electric version, which gives me so much hope and confidence for the electric future we are finding ourselves in. So, it's a 2-litre unit found in the A45. It is actually slower, though, than the A45. And you're like, what's the A45? Mercedes naming is very weird, Theo. I can't keep track of it. I understand. Remember the compressor? This is the A45. Now, I hate it. I hate these cars. They cost about £70,000 and it's a hatchback. No hatchback. The top of the range should cost any more than like 50 grand. And you'd be like, you're just pulling that out of your bum. It's a hatchback. It is a starter, small, economical car. I don't care how quick it is. It's a 4-cylinder. It should not cost any more than 50 grand to any level. So you might be wondering, all right, but I like the AMG GT, and I could never afford an AMG GT. This may be my answer. This may be the way that I get into an AMG GT. Then one day I can engine swap it or do something that I will never actually do. All right, don't be crazy, don't be stupid. You are not doing that in a modern day car. So what if I told you this 4-cylinder AMG GT that it's gonna weigh how much? It's gonna weigh a lot. What if I told you it is expected to cost over £100,000, though comfortably below the £165,000 that the AMG GT63 will cost? Also, why are they? I really hate that they're doing this. The other one is an AMG GT. This is shit. For my worldly friends, $127,000 is likely where it's going to start at the very bottom. This will probably get you hubcaps. It's actually not going to be the case. It will definitely cost more than this, is essentially what we're saying. It will not cost EcoBoost money. It will not be an alternative to the Mustang EcoBoost, like a lot of people keep telling me. This is not sane. And some of you might be like, Theo, that's not going to be the case. Mercedes aren't that stupid. They will not charge $100,000 for this car. And yeah, I'm just going to ignore Car Throttle saying that and a bunch of others in the industry. Okay. How many of you have seen the AMG C63? This is footage by DP Cars, by the way. Let's have a listen to this. What's wrong with this car? Other than it sounds like crap, it doesn't have a V8 in it. The C63 was the first car to lose its big old V8 motor. And how much does it cost? Well, used at 250 miles, £106,000. I don't even need to convert that. That should be sensible. You should be able to make sense of that. It's going to cost a little bit more. And of course, we're ignoring all the trimmings and the extras and the options. And, oh, you got to pay this, otherwise you don't get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as you know, is kind of required for any of these cars because their infotainment systems are still shocking. So, you might remember this car manufacturer. We actually spoke about them a couple of weeks ago. This is Jaguar, and they are about to kill this car, the Jaguar F-Type. Now, what they did was really, really stupid, in my opinion, because I used to think this car was super cool. I was like, British sports car, very interesting. It comes with a good old engine that I'm very excited about, and then something changed. They decided to release a 4-cylinder variant of this car. Now, this instantly made me lose interest in the F-Type. Why are you just a bigot? You're like, I don't want to drive in a plebby car. It wasn't that. How am I part of the whole point of owning a car is to be like, oh wow, look at that, that's a nice car. No one on this planet goes, yes, that's a nice car, when it goes down the road. And it sounds like arse, is basically what I'm trying to say. When the streets and the world is flooded with 4-cylinder variants of a car that you own, you are going to feel like people think it's a 4-cylinder. This is part of it. This is premium cars. This is what it's all about. It's about going and having and spending that extra money, and then you find out that someone can have it for less money than you. I'll either get the 4-cylinder or I'm probably not going to get it at all and get a car like a Porsche or what else is there these days. It also devalues the whole market of these vehicles. Here you go. You've got this one at 23 grand, 26 grand, 27 grand, 19 grand. 19 grand. That's the V6 as well. It has destroyed the value of any of these cars. So if you buy it new, you drive it for a lot, all of a sudden, you've got no money left. It's just gone. And what's happened to Jaguar? Well, they're now only doing SUVs. I see. So that's worked incredibly well for them. But Mercedes thought, yes, even though the whole world hated and nobody bought these 4-cylinder C63s, let's do the exact same thing with the AMG GT, because then people go, oh, well, this is different because it's a sporty car and it looks sporty and 4 cylinders available. It's going to be affordable, see, it's going to be affordable. No, it ain't. This is just another step in the direction of insanity in where I think car manufacturers are going to slowly, very quickly maybe, realize that this is maybe not the way to go about this. I am a petrol head, and I appreciate a nice big V8 motor, but I also appreciate that electric cars have to come and kind of fill the gaps in, and it may be one of the potential futures. Nothing I have seen other than maybe the Porsche Taycan or the Honda E has interested me, and I think a lot of people. There are a few cars, I kind of like that one, Rimac, and blah, blah, blah. I like these, that, and the others. The Porsche Taycan starts at, what, £120,000. If you want a fully spec'd out one, you're looking at £160,000. I say fully spec, that's not true. The top model before the specification, so you're looking more about £200,000. The Honda E is dead. Do you know why? Because the range was about 100 miles. So the alternative would have been this, would have gone electric. Maybe they could have done electric sports car, electric variant of this very vehicle. And you know what? I would have been upset about that too. I'm not going to sit here and say I would have been happy with that answer. But I wouldn't have been it wouldn't have turned me off as much. Do you remember the SLS back in the day? They made an electric SLS, and that actually excited me. This was before electric cars were kind of taking over. It was very, very cool, the electric SLS. It was on Top Gear, and I really, really loved that thing. I think it was such a cool idea, and ultimately, way before its time, it probably did about 50 miles from memory, but it was intriguing, it was different, but it was an SLS, slightly different, very green, and therefore it was a prototype, it was a test. Also, I saw a video of a potential hope. Of course, electric cars are struggling with the sounds, they sound terrible, and that's just the way it works. These are speakers, they're never gonna sound like pure actual combustion sound, but I still don't understand how they can sound so insanely worse than video game sounds. That's something that's never really resonated with me. It's not about, obviously it sounds like a speaker. We know that. There are ways and chambers that you could do to try and kind of recreate the sound, but the actual sound files are the worst things I have ever heard in my life. Here's a short that I found a little bit earlier. You're like, oh, the idle doesn't sound bad. Okay. Not bad. I don't know what to say. Then the gas heavy turns on and it gets scared and then turns itself off. But I can't understand. Honestly, if the idle sounds, the idle sounded okay. So it tells me you can do low rumbly frequencies, but you can't do the actual. It's a bit of a confusing one because, of course, a lot of these manufacturers have said we're going electric, we're going EV, we're going EV. But rules are kind of chopping and changing all the time, and it seems like in Europe they're kind of getting away with having petrol engines as long as they see progress in the e-fuel situation, which is making progress. But the problem with a lot of the smaller cars and the sportier cars and the fun cars is that those are being scrutinized the most because obviously they are more inefficient. It's not necessary in terms of transportation. And the problem overall, I think, is that we shouldn't be relying on cars as our only good form of transportation. If we could move past using just cars as our only form of transportation, then only fun cars should exist because they'll become a luxury entertainment piece. So in the end, maybe that's the answer. Maybe we stop relying on these things because I do not want a future where these is the only mode of transportation you can get kind of just become. I just don't want to get to this. I don't want this. Once again, this thing weighs, what, 5,000 pounds or whatever? I can't remember. That's American. It's a lot of weight. So Mercedes is likely in the bin. Genuinely feels like they're self-inflicting this, but they've got enough money to not, go bankrupt from this. Right?